Coming up next on the STEM show, where students solve problems and create opportunities, I will be talking with a student from North County High School. Hello, and thank you for joining me for the STEM show. Today, I'm with a North County High School graduate, Edwin, and he's here to talk about his whole experience of STEM in middle and high school. Edwin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Good to be back.
Thanks. So, what school were you a part of the STEM program for middle school?
I went to Lindale Middle School.
And what about it made you want to continue STEM in high school?
I really liked, for one, I really liked the community. In middle school, you had most of your classes with only other STEM people, and you just really got familiar and close with all the students throughout sixth through eighth grade. And the other thing that I really liked about STEM in middle school is that you also had a lot of opportunities. You took a lot of classes that were required for STEM that only STEM people could take, and it just introduced me to a lot of other classes and fields that I was interested in learning more about in high school.
So, when you first started STEM, did you realize that you wanted to be like you were mathematically or engineered background, that you wanted to explore those topics?
Yeah, I was really into math when I was in middle school. I just thought it was like for me, I was really good at it. And also engineering, I didn't really like engineering, but I was still more into the design process of it. Specifically, well, in middle school, we took this one class. It was called Gateway to Technology, which provided a lot of background for engineering, and it introduced me to a lot of engineering software. And I liked the building aspect of it. The software aspect was a little difficult for me, but it definitely um, made me more interested in what other engineering uh, classes and opportunities I could have.
Now, along with those opportunities, did you guys have like guest speakers or field trips that were required for STEM?
Yeah, we had a lot of field trips in high school and in middle school. High school, not as much, but that was for some reason. But middle school, we definitely took a lot of field trips. We took one to like the aquarium in Baltimore, which was more towards like marine biology. We took a lot to um, museums too. We looked at a lot of art museums, and then we learned sort of about like preservation, which sort of goes into the science category of STEM. And we also leaned into like history sometimes. Like we went to a medieval times tournament for a field trip in middle school as well.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of different things that really could pique people's interest,
Mhm.
no matter what they wanted their background to be. So you mentioned that there's required STEM classes that you had to take. Did that interfere with like other electives or classes that you wanted to take or like people not in STEM would be able to take?
Yeah, so STEM in both high school and middle school is really restrictive to your schedule. So it is something that you sort of have to know before you get yourself into it. So it does take up a lot of electives, and in middle school and in high school, I only really had one elective per year that I could take. And then mine, I chose Avid. But in high school, like your senior year, junior year, it gets easier, more flexible for you. So you do still have opportunity to take classes that you sort of want to take. You just have to wait a little longer.
Okay, and was your STEM experience at North County all that you thought it would be?
Yeah, I actually do think so. It gave me a lot of insight on a whole bunch of fields. So freshman year, you're supposed to choose a pathway in high school, which sort of broadens or it sort of narrows down what you want to study. I chose the nanotech and material science pathway because I was sort of interested in like medicine, but also like science, see what I could learn. And I don't know, I got really familiar with like nanotechnology and material science, and it does tie in pretty well with what I'm studying right now in college, I feel. So I do think I got a lot out of it, especially with other um, bigger projects that I also had to do throughout my time.
So if there's anyone like me that has no idea what nanotechnology is, can you explain that?
Yeah, nanotechnology is sort of referring to technology at the microscopic level, and it goes really well within medical fields. It helps with like it sort of helps explain also like delivering medicine to people. Like if you're talking about like injections, um, there are certain technologies that are on the microscopic level that helps deliver medicine more effectively. Um, yeah, that's what.
Okay. Were there any like big projects that you had to do? Like, I guess for some programs are called capstones. Like, did you have capstones throughout high school that you needed to do for STEM?
Yes. So from since freshman year, you're sort of building up towards this larger project that you do in senior year. So you started a little small in freshman year. Freshman year, I did like it's called project-based learning, and you basically focus on one project for the whole year. So my freshman year, I sort of developed a website to help with mental health awareness. And then my sophomore year, I was sort of targeting ADHD by sort of setting up like fidget stations throughout classrooms. And then my junior year and senior year is when the we actually got to our capstone projects, which are a lot bigger and take a lot more time. So my junior year, I focused on sort of designing a garden for the Baltimore and Oregon Railroad Museum, which is in Baltimore. And then my senior year, we did a pretty big clothing drive to help people within the community.
Okay, so all of this really seems like you want to help other people,
Mhm.
no matter like what the topic was each grade level. Now, when you're doing these projects, like, did you ask teachers if they had fidgets and could they put them out? Were you responsible for getting materials and like an advisor? Like, how did that actually work?
Well, for the fidget ones, it was sort of like a mix. So we did ask for donations, whether it was monetary or like actual fidget donations, but we also utilized the 3D printers that we had at North County, and we created our own like fidgets. I don't really know what they were called, but they were still pretty cool. They were like pretty wiggly like things, and they were pretty good for like fidget toys. But yeah, we did usually look for sponsors when it came to the upper level classes, so like junior year and senior year. So my junior year, my whole project was like sponsored by the B&O Railroad Museum. So we had to reach out. We actually went to the museum and we talked to the people that ran it, and then we worked with the Salvation Army for my senior year, and we sort of talked about what they could accept and how we can better have how we can have like a good impact and successful clothing drive.
Now, did you spend a lot of time like hiking or at the CNO? Like, how did you come up with that idea and realize that you wanted a garden there?
Mm. So the B&O Railroad Museum project, that one was a little more out of my hands because in junior year you sort of get assigned a project, and senior year is when you actually choose what you want to do. So the B&O Railroad Museum was looking, they already wanted a garden within the like backyard of their museum. So they reached out to the STEM coordinator at North County High School, and they provided us with the opportunity of designing the garden.
Okay, and did you like come into any like problems or did was there more than just one person? Was it just
Mhm.
you doing it?
For the junior year project, it was a group of three, so like me and two other people were working on it. Um, our biggest problem was that we had to basically design it on like a software. We used SketchUp, but neither of us were really like that familiar with it. So it didn't look the most professional, I guess, but it was the first time all of us were using the software. But that's like another thing that I really liked about STEM is that it does give you these opportunities to sort of familiarize yourself more with like a whole bunch of softwares that could come in handy like further down the line.
So out of all the projects that you did, which one was your favorite and why?
My favorite, again, is probably the V&O Railroad Museum. I thought it was like a really cool project that not only like included technology with the with the software that you use to sort of develop the garden, but as well as a little bit of like science was also coming into play because you had to know a lot about like plants, how they thrive within the environments, and you also had to choose specific plants that were native to Maryland. So there was a lot of like science and technology that went into it, and I just thought it was really cool and interesting.
That's great. What did you decide to do after high school?
After high school, went to University of Maryland. That's where my brother went, so I was more inclined to go there. And I'm studying architecture, and I'm just having really fun with it right now, so I'm having a good time.
So do you think, you had mentioned Avid, do you think your years in Avid and STEM have really helped you like collaborate and, be a little more like self-sufficient and open to working with other people? Because University of Maryland is very diverse and it's a very large campus, and some people can get overwhelmed easily.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that my time within both programs was really, really useful actually. It made me really um, sure about myself. I'm really comfortable around people now, especially because in both Avid and in STEM, we had a lot of presentations that we had to do. It made you more comfortable with talking to not only larger classes and like a large group of people, but it also made you more comfortable about yourself just because you're surrounded with like all these people within your program that you have like the same classes with for like throughout your time within the program. And it just makes you, I just feel like I had a lot of like, experience like communicating with people that I now use in college.
And what do you hope to do after you graduate? Because, like in architecture, there's a lot of different fields. So, have you narrowed anything down, or are you just kind of taking a variety of courses to help you figure that out?
Yeah, I'm taking a variety of courses right now, especially like gen eds. They help me sort of like branch out, explore other things that aren't really related to architecture. But for now, I'm not entirely sure what I do want to do. I am sort of aiming to be a licensed architect. Like now being young, that's sort of just what I'm like a broad like pathway that I'm trying to go on. And I'm trying to go into like this program that University of Maryland offers that lets you get your master's degree in 5 years instead of six. So for now, that's what I'm aiming for, and I apply for that like next year.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that,
Thank
because
you.
that sounds amazing to be able to do all of that in 5 years. So are you like taking other STEM courses in high school as well, or I mean in college, or are you just focused on architecture?
I'm definitely taking more STEM classes. Well, I took calculus, which is like a math class, my freshman year, and then I did take physics, and I'm planning on taking more physics classes. Um, I think it's a challenging class, but it's definitely like interesting. So I do want to see where it can take me. So I am planning on taking like higher level physics in the
Wow,
future.
that sounds great. So if there's anybody that's watching and they're like, I've heard about STEM, but I don't know too many people in it. I don't know if I want to take those required courses, but they're thinking about it for middle or high school. What advice would you give them?
I would give them to the advice I would say is to just um don't force yourself to do anything you don't want to do. It's definitely a good reminder of you. I think it doesn't hurt to like take a risk, especially since STEM is like it pushes you to go into more elevated courses. They are more fast paced. I feel like you guys shouldn't be scared of a challenge. Definitely take it. And if you don't like it, it's never too late to say no. Um, yeah, but definitely like look into it and you could get more out of it than you think you would.
That's awesome. Well, Edwin, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of The STEM Show. And remember, don't be afraid to take advantage of your opportunities because you never know where they may lead.